It's a special talent for songwriters to write upbeat songs. Some bands have their formula down so well that they can practically make any scenario into a fun-filled sing-along. But every now and again, artists can slip something much darker past you. Over the years, songs have come out that have great sunny melodies, but are actually filled to the brim with dread. In an attempt to offset the morbid subject matter, artists will write happy tunes so the message won't catch the listener off guard. Whether it's about love, murder, or even shady characters, each of these songs are a lot more disturbing than you might have initially realised. I am Kirsten from WhatCulture Music, and these are 10 happy songs that are insanely dark. Number 10, Say It Ain't So by WEEZER. When WEEZER first came onto the scene with the Colourful Blue album in 1994, their sound was a breath of fresh air for the rock scene. With the grunge scene being full of existential angst and depression, this record was filled to the brim with pop hooks and choruses that pulled everyone out of the Seattle melancholy. However, that didn't mean every tune was cheerful. Opening with a funky guitar riff and an almost ska rhythm, Say It Ain't So is definitely the slowest cut on the album. As the chorus gives way to crushing power chords, you're drowning in the same nerdy bliss of the rest of the record. Or are you? As it turns out, Rivers Cuomo originally wrote this song as a response to his stepfather's violent behaviour. With Cuomo's original father leaving him due to alcoholism, this song details the harsh feelings that come up when Cuomo finds a case of beer in the fridge from his stepdad. Suddenly, this song goes from a mellow jam into a primal scream of desperation from a lonely child to not fall prey to another abusive parental figure. Number 9, Better Man by Pearl Jam. Early Pearl Jam always seemed to put you through the emotional ringer. For as many weird moments as there were on the band's third effort, Vitalogy, Better Man was the shining light underneath it all. With its sunshiny melody and bulletproof chorus, the song was the little ray of hope radiating from the Seattle movement. Surely there was a positive story here, right? Well, no. Originally written when Eddie Vedder was still in his teenage band, this song is actually a somber look at the two players in a broken relationship. The scene is set in a bathroom as a young woman waits all through the night for her significant other to come back. Once you think that she's about to break off this relationship, when he returns, she absent-mindedly rolls over and accepts it, condemning herself to staying in this loveless relationship. This song may have provided the soundtrack of the 90s for many people, but the true Pearl Jam fans realise just how heart-wrenching this song can get. Number 8, Kid Charlemagne by Steely Dan. From the start of their career, Steely Dan were almost condemned to stay in the realm of dad rock. With their jazz accentuations and subdued vocals from Donald Fagen, the band's greatest hits seem to be nothing more than your typical mood music. On the contrary, songs like Kid Charlemagne led to something much more interesting and terrifying. According to Fagen, this tune was actually written in tribute to Owsley Stanley, who was a sound man for the Grateful Dead and the most in-demand psychedelic chef in the San Francisco scene. The whole song seems to be a homage to the man's more experimental uses with LSD, but things take a darker turn once you get to the end of the guitar solo. It appears that Charlemagne's name has gotten around, and he now has to clean up his entire house before the police nab him in a drug bust. Just as things start to heat up, Charlemagne takes off in a car, with the listener unsure of where he's headed. You might call it bland at first, but this tune contains more dramatic heft than many feature films could hope to have. Number 7, Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Normally when you think of songs like these, they tend to trick you by having a lush backing track and sprinkle in the brutal lyrics. In the case of My Chemical Romance, we were treated to a reversal of the normal process. From the look and presentation of the Black Parade's journey through death, we knew we were going to be in for a harsh listen. However, once the single Welcome to the Black Parade dropped, we were treated to one of the most magnetic stage performances the rock world had seen in a while. Instead of using the dour subject matter to fuel the musical tone, this song turns the cold embrace of death into one of the most cheery sing-alongs of the 2000s, with the band amping up their sound to a level of grandeur that Queen would have been comfortable with. Number 6, Don't Stand So Close to Me by The Police. Out of all the new wave bands of the late 70s, there was always an air of professionalism with The Police. On the surface, Don't Stand So Close to Me is just another installment in the band's hit collection, with an unbeatable chorus and bouncy reggae rhythms. However, the verses have something much more off-putting than what the chorus leads you to believe. The protagonist in this song is a typical schoolteacher, but the adulation he's getting from his students is getting a bit too close for comfort. As he tries to keep everything on course, the advances of this girl leads to him almost losing his job, as his colleagues accuse him of more inappropriate criminal behaviour. To this day, Sting has neither confirmed nor denied whether this song was a situation he had to face during his time as a teacher, but the mystery draws in even more. Regardless of its supposed inspiration, Don't Stand So Close to Me may be one of the darkest songs to make its way to the top of the charts. Number 5, Guns for Hands by 21 Pilots. 21 Pilots have practically made a career out of deceptively depressing songs. Though many of the band's songs could qualify, Guns for Hands may be one of the most blunt examples of this practice. When pressed about the meaning behind the song, Joseph said that he wrote it in a response to the members of the band's fanbase who had dealt with suicidal depression. Joseph was taken aback at the fact that people were finding solitude in his songs, but the lyrics of this tune show him growing ever more worried that his fans will succumb to their depressive tendencies, with the last verse exclaiming about needing to turn these guns back into fists. By bringing attention to these darker subjects, it seems that 21 Pilots has shone a light on mental depression and helped many teenagers overcome struggles of their own. Number 4, Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell. Joni Mitchell is known to have one of the most beautiful voices in the folk rock scene. While Big Yellow Taxi is one of the sunniest tracks she's put out, the story behind the song is actually a bit more concerning than you might expect. As opposed to the standard song concepts of love, happiness, or breakups, this tune takes an environmentalist bent as it talks about the natural beauties of the world being swept away due to man-made necessities. In Mitchell's story, the natural resources become so exploited that the last of the natural trees are put into a museum, where humans can charge the last admirers of nature just to look at them. To add insult to injury, the last verse shows Mitchell's lover departing, taking with him the last natural love that she had in her possession. It's never easy to deliver these messages in a saccharine way, but Joni Mitchell proves that she can put a positive tune to just about any situation. Number 3, Paris by the 1975. The 1975 has been one of the most unescapable bands to come out in the past 5 years. While the band is known for their more cheery tendencies, there is something much more grim taking place on Paris. With its rolling drum pattern and chord structure, the song seems to be a straightforward song about love. However, the specifics of this relationship are a lot more disconcerting than you might think on its first glance. As opposed to being two people sharing their life together, these people are two lost souls that have broken everything off from each other. As they go through their daily lives, they're not able to function without the other, yet feel compelled to because of the volatility of their relationship. In that sense, the concept of Paris becomes a metaphor of going back to simpler times before the plagues of life caught up with them. The song gets even more dire when you realise that one of them has become addicted to drugs, romanticising the effects of their heroin dosage. The song may be a bop, but these characters have more than their fair share of demons. Number 2, No Surprises by Radiohead. No self-respecting Radiohead fan comes to the band's music for a pick-me-up. Throughout their storied career, the band have been known to pump out some of the saddest music that the rock genre has to offer. However, no one would necessarily blame you for thinking No Surprises is a happy tune on the first glance. With most of the track being dominated by clean guitars and the delicate sounds of glockenspiel, the song's sonic aura seems to be pulled straight out of the Beach Boys playbook. Once Tom York starts to sing though, we're back on familiar and dreadful territory. As York assesses all the hurt that he has felt in his life, he starts to express his desire to just be numb with no more surprises to speak of. It seems simple enough, but York's method of doing this through a handshake of carbon monoxide hints at the incredibly dark nature behind his distaste for hang-ups. Out of all the depressing songs this band has put out, this dour look at life has the most sugar-coated disguise of any track in Radiohead's catalogue. Number 1, Hey Ya by OUTKAST. For most 2000s kids, the world seemed to come to a halt when OUTKAST released Hey Ya. With the perfect combination of pop, soul and hip-hop, the song was unlike anything that had come out on the radio in recent memory. Even though the danceable groove and hook line from Andre 3000 was so cheery, Andre's intention behind this song seemed to be much more sardonic than romantic. While the track opens strong enough with 3000 talking about his girl's faithful nature, he grows more skeptical as to whether she really is happy in the relationship. As such, the song becomes a meditation on the entire concept of love, with most people going into relationships just because they're comfortable with it rather than actually being happy. During the breakdown, 3000 starts calling out people who think that the entire concept of love revolves around looking good rather than establishing a legitimate connection, with the only way to achieve coolness being to act ice cold. With everything going for it, this song is a carefree summer jam about how love is dead. And there you are, the 10 happy songs that are insanely dark. But let us know your favourites down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon to be notified of any new videos coming your way. But for now, I have been Kirsten from WhatCulture Music, and I will see you in the next video.